So, welcome to a conversation on building better business in Jamaica. It is the podcast. My name is Kiki, and it gives me great pleasure being here. So, to start things off, just a little backstory. In March of 2024, the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, along with JAMPRO and the KIOJ and our partners, the Foundations for Competitiveness and Growth here in Jamaica, launched its Building Better Business Together campaign. And essentially, what that is all about, it's about delving into the exciting developments of transformation that is happening across the Jamaica business landscape. So for the next few months, we're going to be speaking with all the experts in various industries who are going to enlighten those of us who are interested in becoming entrepreneurs, who are already entrepreneurs, who want to have a better understanding of how to grow their business exponentially, by the way. Mrs. Bonadue, we want to start with you. So when it comes on to standards and manufacturing and exporting, could you just simplify first of all for business owners who are listening, what is standards all about? What is that? When you hear standards, just define it.
Okay. Thanks for having me. So standard is a very simple thing. It's really a way of doing something that you do this way all the time. So you've standardized it. I like to compare it to like a recipe. You have a structure which you go with. You have a type of equipment you use, an oven. You have a recipe that you follow. So a standard is how you standardize, structure what you do all the time, every time, to ensure that you achieve the same product all the time.
All the time.
So you have different type of standards. Standards for tests, standards for product, standards for how you want to farm, for example. So there are standards for almost everything. And your stress and your shoe are standardized.
Everything is standardized. What's the main thing that you'd like business owners to understand, especially as it relates to them growing their business and having to come to the Bureau of Standards?
Okay, so the Bureau of Standards is the national standards body in Jamaica. We are a member of ISO. It's about 170 developing countries. And I should put a plug, I'm the developing country chair for the world, in the world. However, the standards body is one of what Sharon May would call the quality infrastructure. So she'll tell you about that later. But we are here, so persons try to export, and the minister talk about a country, export to a country of 2 million people, or selling to 2 million people. We want to sell to the world.
That's right.
And the only way to sell to the world is to ensure that all our manufacturers are operating in a way
that meet the world standards.
That meet their standards too, the world standards. Because for us to enter the international market, the products have to be reliable, they have to have integrity, and our customers have to have confidence that these products will be always the same products all the time. So we have to have a system to ensure that our manufacturers can repeatably enter into a market and keep their presence in that market.
Explain to us, what does JANAC do?
So I know that's the question, because we're told that JANAC is one of the best kept secrets in Jamaica. But I'm here to tell all.
Thank you.
The Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation, we are the national accreditation body of Jamaica, and we accredit laboratories, inspection bodies, and certification bodies. And that sounds boring. Like, really, how does that impact manufacturers, and how does that impact trade and open markets? The point is, Kiki, that if you have excellent products, you have manufactured products that you think meet the specifications, but when they're tested in the target market, the buyers find issue with those products, then you will have a problem. So we will have our manufacturers producing goods, shipping them to their target markets. When they get there, the market rejects it. Then this now means that the manufacturer has to pay to dispose or ship back the products. That's a lot of cost. That's a lot of money that they would lose. So when they use an accredited lab, an accredited certificate from a laboratory that is accredited by JANAC, a signatory to the mutual recognition arrangements that exist with the International Laboratory Accreditation Corporation or the International Accreditation Forum, means that these test results, when they get to the target market, they are accepted equally as if they were done in that market. So that's the benefit of accreditation. It means that our manufacturers, their goods can be safeguarded. Because if you are testing your product here in Jamaica, you will identify whether or not there are any issues. So the choice of a laboratory or an inspection body or a certification body is crucial. Many of our small manufacturers are unaware of this. They don't know that they can make informed decisions about who they spend their money with to support their businesses. We, through the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, want to say to Jamaica, we have an agency here that can support your manufacturing needs. JANAC, we are the only internationally recognized accreditation body in the English-speaking Caribbean. We're proud of that. We have recognitions for 4 international standards that covers food testing, medical testing, calibration labs. We recently were awarded the calibration scope in March of this year. We are recognized for inspection body accreditation, and we're very pleased that right now Jamaica has accredited inspection bodies. Our major inspection bodies, regulatory inspection bodies, have been accredited by JANAC, and that's excellent for Jamaica. So we're very pleased that we have these recognitions, and we have them so that we can support our manufacturing community. It means that if you are a manufacturer and you have some special good or product that you want entry into the US market, if you use an accredited certification body to the FDA TPP program or use the FDA LAAF program, it means then that these products, once they're tested in Jamaica, once they're certified in Jamaica using an accredited entity, they will have more seamless access into the US market, because the auditors that would now be certified by the certification body and the accreditation body's overarching stamp of approval gives them that trust and credibility. So we have a lot to offer, and we are here to support our manufacturing entities.
I think for me, I just want to understand from both perspectives, because this entire discussion is about building businesses and how we can fortify our businesses for longevity as we, push forward with this campaign. What advice do both of you have for entrepreneurs or business owners who are watching right now who needs to benefit from both your services? Starting with you, Mrs.
Okay,
Bonner.
so we recognize that a lot of companies in Jamaica, what we call them medium-sized companies. They're actually small by our standards and micro by our most standards. And inherently, our companies do not have the habit of putting standards in place and using standards for business excellence. So we want to recognize that at the Bureau of Standards, for example, we have departments, or we call them branches, that will help companies, MSMEs and large companies, some large companies, to understand the standard. So if you're going to put in a standard for like ISO 9000 to help your business excellence, or the food safety system standard, or if you just want to put in a standard to get accredited to the lab, we have persons who will guide you free. So I repeat, free of cost. So you can come to the Bureau and we provide guidance on interpreting the standards and guidance to how to document the standards. We also have a unit that helps you interact with the FDA. If you want to enter the US market, we'll interact with you in terms of what are the requirements of FDA. And another unit that helps you with interpreting trade agreements, where we advise the ministry when there are issues with our persons in terms of understanding the requirements of the trade agreements, and even how the ministry and the ministers lobby at WTO and other trade agreement sections. So we have departments, and we'll talk about training also, that will help you to get there. So contact the Bureau of Standards. We have units and areas that are designed specifically. We are now facilitatory. So we have separated ourselves from the policing arm, which is regulated.
All right.
So we have totally different separations.
Yeah.
And this facilitator arm that I'm a part of now is very focused on making business work. Under the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, together, we form the framework. So while we make standards and people adhere to standards and try to enter a market, you cannot enter the market
without
until you have some accreditation or certification. Right. So we together we provide a map to get you there.
There you go.
Persons are at different positions in that road. So but it's okay because you can graduate over time.
So we have a conformity assessment pyramid. And at the pinnacle of that pyramid sits the accreditation body. And below that, you have the conformity assessment bodies, like, for example, the Bureau of Standards laboratories, and inspection bodies, like you have inspection bodies in the Ministry of Agriculture. You have inspection bodies that support the traffic authority that supports motor vehicle inspections, or you have certification bodies that certify food products, etc., processes or persons. And then those entities that are described as conformity assessment bodies, they are using international standards as the criteria to check to see if the product or the process aligns with the specification or the requirements of the standards. The Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation, we are an agency of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, and we provide the trust in trade. The World Trade Organization, they established the Technical Barriers to Trade Agreement and the sanitary and phytosanitary agreements. And through those agreements, they have established that there needs to be transparency with conformity assessment procedures. These are the procedures, as I mentioned, what a conformity assessment body was earlier. These procedures are used by countries to safeguard their citizens. So you put a procedure through a technical regulation that says that all bottled waters need to be tested or need to be tested by an accredited lab, because the accreditation is what provides the trust that the results coming out of the lab met the requirements of the standard. We are the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation. We provide accreditation services to all types of laboratories, medical testing laboratories, food testing laboratories, calibration laboratories, you name it. If you have a lab, it can be accredited by JANAC, or inspection bodies or certification bodies. What does this do and what's the process? What does this entail? It means that, say, for example, the Bureau of Standards labs, and we have accredited many labs, public sector labs, private sector labs. We invite our listeners or viewers to visit our website to www.janac, frog in my throat, JANAAC.gov.jm. And don't worry about what it looks like now. We'll be rebranding on June 11th. But there is a list of all the accredited institutions on the website that shows the labs and inspection bodies and certification bodies that are accredited. What we do for our businesses in Jamaica is that we allow for their the test results that support their goods and services to be accepted in any market in the world. So you don't need to have a buyer come from France to come to Jamaica to test a product to see that this product is meeting its requirements. Through the use of an accredited lab, that product can be trusted. And this is important for our entrepreneurs. Julia mentioned how small our entities sometimes are. They know that they know that they must do testing, but many of them don't know the difference between using an accredited lab and one that's not accredited. So we encourage them to use an accredited lab so that their goods and services can access all the international markets of their choice.
Thank you so much for joining us on a conversation on building better businesses in Jamaica. I'm your host, Kiki. Join us next time.